Women and men and children rejoice. COMESA is yours. Wonderful COMESA.
People of Africa, rise up and unite as one. Hard work is key to prosperity. United we stand.
Wonderful COMESA. Wonderful COMESA. Forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity and unity. Wonderful COMESA. Forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity and unity. African rise and shine. This is your hour of joy. The future is bright and full of hope. We shall succeed. Wonderful COMESA.
Blessed is Africa, land of resources and wealth. COMESA's hand will till this land, the harvest will come. Wonderful COMESA.
Wonderful COMESA. Forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity and unity. Wonderful COMESA. Forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity and unity. Leaders of COMESA, thank you for leading us through. Making us one is your vision. It shall be done. Wonderful COMESA. People of Africa, rejoice in COMESA's work. It is the hope for the future. It is the key. Wonderful COMESA. Wonderful COMESA. Forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity and unity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. So my name is Mushai Kunyiha. I'm the first Vice President of the COMESA Business Council, and I'll be your master of ceremony this morning as we go through the program. A big special welcome to Nairobi. Karibuni sana, bienvenue. I think it's the French for that, which reminds me we do have some translation equipment with you, and they'll put for us on the screen how you can get onto the translation headsets. If you need some, you can raise your hand up and the ushers will show you so you can follow what is going on. So a special welcome to this, the 18th COMESA Business Forum. And we have with us today our distinguished guests. We've got cabinet secretaries from the government of Kenya, Honorable Mutahi Kagwe and Lee Kinyanjui. We have delegations from other COMESA states led by the chairman of trade in COMESA, His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibea from Burundi. Welcome. And the Secretary General, welcome to Nairobi as well. We also have our PSs and other government officials from COMESA states and Kenya who are with us, and we'll be getting to introduced to them as we go along. A special welcome also to the EU guests among us who have joined us for this COMESA event. This is the first of events for this business forum running from today to the 8th, and we've titled the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect, where we're trying to focus on agriculture and agriculture from the EU, what we can sell there, trade with, and in the COMESA region. This event is organized by COMESA together with the COMESA Business Council, and allow me to emphasize what we do as the Business Council. We are the apex body for the private sector within COMESA, and we have representatives from each country. Each time the COMESA heads of states have a summit, we try and get the business people together so that they can deal with each other and exchange with each other. As we know, the COMESA infrastructure is a doorway that is open for us, but it is open for the private sector to go through. So it is up to us, the private sector, to take these opportunities and engage with each other. So the Horticulture Connect is part of the broader forum, and the theme is leveraging digitalization to deepen regional chains for sustainable and inclusive growth. So we hope also that you'll be able to take some time to visit the exhibitions. We have some exhibitions right across the fountains, in the white tents across there, and you'll be able to see some of the businesses that are there. Also importantly is that all the insights and recommendations that are put together from today will be presented to the summit, the Heads of State Summit later this week. So both what we put together today and tomorrow at the Business Forum will be collating together to present to the heads of state. This event was envisioned and designed to advance strategic engagement, partnership building, and market linkages between COMESA and the European Union. So we aim to connect horticulture producers, EU buyers, and other trade players. EU is one of our biggest and most dynamic markets, especially for horticulture. And we know that we have been engaging with this for a while. We've had various projects through COMESA. We've had the EU-funded Regional Enterprise Competitiveness and Access to Markets Program. And even last year, we, together with the Secretariat, we had, and the Business Council, we organized a delegation to Europe. And out of that, there was trade developed of about 10 million euros between the companies who are able to engage there. And that's what we hope to continue with today. We also highlight Actesa, who is part of the sponsors and organizers of this meeting, who have helped us to position COMESA in trade with the rest of the world, and especially with linking smallholder farmers and agribusinesses to regional and EU business. So today we are going to start this morning with the official opening ceremony, and then later on we'll have a couple of panels looking at what the regulatory issues are, how we can open the markets, and also from businesses who have actually transacted and done trade so that they can show us what they have done and what is possible going forward. And that will be this afternoon. So we hope we'll be able to unlock the full potential of COMESA to international markets together. And to kick us off, we have from our host nation, our Principal Secretary, the State Department of Trade, Ms. Regina Ombam, who is going to do the welcoming remarks. Ms. Ombam, karibu.
Thank you very much, MC, and good morning, everyone. Our guest of honor, Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Kenya. Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Kenya. His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson, COMESA, Council of Ministers, and Minister for Trade, the Republic of Burundi. Honorable Ministers, Cabinet Secretaries from COMESA member states, Her Excellency Chileshe Kapwepwe, COMESA Secretary General, Mr. James Chamwanza, President, COMESA Business Council, heads of COMESA institutions, permanent secretaries, principal secretaries, representatives of government institutions, representative of our cooperating partners, the European Union, the Federation of German Industries, AGRA, chairperson of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, CEOs of business associations and captains of industry, members of CBC, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. A very warm welcome to you all, and in particular, a special karibu sana to our esteemed partners and buyers who have traveled from across Europe and the COMESA region to be with us here in Nairobi. It is both a great honor and a privilege for Kenya to host this first ever COMESA EU Horticulture Connect, a pivotal gathering that sits at the very heart of trade, partnership, and shared prosperity. The broader business forum theme, leveraging digitalization to deepen regional chains, finds practical expression in the Horticulture Connect. More than a conference, it is a platform for action, facilitating direct B2B partnerships that translate into export deals, showcasing COMESA's horticultural excellence and tackling the pressing issues of standards, traceability, and logistics that shape our farmers' and exporters' competitiveness. To our COMESA producers, I urge you to seize this moment, engage deeply, listen to the market requirements, and showcase the world-class quality that you are capable of to our EU partners. To our EU partners, I assure you of our commitment to meeting your standards and fostering sustainable long-term business relationships. So I wish to extend my profound gratitude, shukran, to the COMESA Secretariat, the COMESA Business Council, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and our partners from the European Union for their steadfast collaboration in making this event a reality. It is my pleasure to, once again, officially welcome you to Kenya and to this Horticulture Connect. May your discussions be fruitful, your connections be strong, and your partnerships be prosperous. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from one of our key partners, like has been mentioned, is the European Union. And we have with us Ms. Lana Jutelia, I think I got that right, almost, who is the Leader Environment and Climate Rural Development, Trade and Cooperation, delegation of the EU to COMESA. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Kenya, our guest of honor. Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Kenya. Your Excellency, Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson, COMESA Council of Ministers, Burundi, Honorable Ministers and Cabinet Secretaries, Your Excellency, Chileshe Kapwepwe, COMESA Secretary General, Permanent Secretaries, Principal Secretaries, Assistant Secgen, Ambassador Dr. Mohamed Kada, Assistant Secgen, Dr. Dev Haman, representatives of government institutions, Mr. James Chimwaza, President of the CBC, representatives of the cooperating partners, the private sector, representatives of the EU and the COMESA business sector. Allow me to ride on all the previous protocols. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my very, very big pleasure to be here today and represent Madam Karolina Stasiak, the EU ambassador to Zambia and COMESA in this very, very important event. The 18th COMESA Business Forum is particularly special to us, to the European Union, this year as it hosts the COMESA Europe Horticulture Connect. We are particularly proud to be supporting COMESA in this very, very important endeavor, and this annual forum serves as a crucial hub for us to align our strategies between the EU and COMESA, to review what we have accomplished so far, but also, most importantly, to set goals for the future. We are particularly grateful to the COMESA Secretariat, the Government of Kenya, the COMESA Business Council, and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers for bringing this event to life. This year's theme, leveraging digitalization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth, could not be more timely. You will for sure be familiar that from an EU perspective, we are really trying to advance these key priorities forward, really bringing and matching the investments, the businesses, the private sectors, sustainability of value chains. And digitalization is key to everything. We are at a turning point. The choices that we make now will define how we live in the future, how we grow, how we trade, how we create opportunities for each other and for our people. Let me recall that in this particular region, on this particular continent, agriculture is really the lifeblood. It employs 70% of the population for COMESA, and at this point in time, digital tools are no longer an option. They're essential. They actually help farmers to get access to market. They get them to get fair prices. They allow them to open new doors to international markets. And talking of markets, we will soon celebrate 1 year of the tripartite agreement between COMESA, EAC, and SADC, a very important milestone indeed for a market of over 800 million people. So we are, of course, embedded in the African continental free trade area, but you can only imagine with this huge tripartite area, trade area, what potential is out there and how much we can actually use it and deepen the regional integration. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would really like to commend the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect initiative. It is really through a very targeted cooperation that we can achieve more and that we stand a chance to go and grow further. We need to channel our investments into enhancing systems, establishing robust quality standards, we spoke about it earlier, deploying cutting-edge technologies, among others, and really bridge this gap between European investors, European buyers, and COMESA producers. Let me reiterate that the EU, as mentioned earlier by the Honourable Minister, the EU is a stable and committed partner on this path. And I'm sure that we all share the same feeling here today, that SMEs are the heartbeat of this transformation. So the EU-funded programs such as the RECAMP, the Regional Enterprise Competitiveness and Access to Markets, but also the EU COMESA capacity building program and the program mentioned earlier by our distinguished moderator, the access to market and the trade competitiveness aspect of the African continent. These are all programs through which the EU seeks to reinforce and strengthen COMESA and COMESA member states' capacities. It is also embedded in a very continental effort. So the effort that we are putting into the COMESA region, we are also in parallel aligning our efforts on the entire continent, working with the African Union, working with the other RECs on the continent, and really embedded in a strong continental regional integration. Let me come back to the digitalization part. Digital certificates of origin, be able to trace, ensure traceability, standards along the value chains is a key component for EU markets. And in this sense, digital tools will, of course, never be enough. They cannot stand alone. We need the proper ecosystems. We need policies which are aligned. We need borders that are open for businesses. We are talking about cross-border trade. We need infrastructure that connects people. And last but not least, we need skills that can actually empower the next generation. If you get all these elements right into place, this is where we can then grow further together. In this sense, the EU is fully committed to support regulatory harmonization, bridging digital gaps, and strengthening the human capital. In this sense, the second part of this week's theme, Value Chains for Sustainable and Inclusive Growth, let me reiterate the EU's support in sustainability regulation. And once again here, the EU is of course not walking alone on this path of sustainability and delivering on our joint global commitments. We talk about environment, climate commitments, about the goals of sustainability that all the countries around the world have jointly committed to. So in this sense, the EU is extremely proud to be at the forefront and to push forward regulations such as the EU Deforestation-Free Regulation, the EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, the Waste Shipment Regulation, Global Supply Chains Directives, and many others. This is the way to make sure that the products reaching the EU market and the investments which are actually done from the EU side have proper standards, proper harmonization, regulatory frameworks, accountability, traceability, transparency. It is all about creating new market opportunities in line with the legislation and with the global commitments. Once again, we really believe that with the EU support provided to COMESA and its member states, we are on the right path to deliver on this. This is really helping us to bridge this gap between the EU and COMESA member states. I really wish this forum to transcend dialogue and translate into tangible actions. And the 24 summits of heads of states and government is also putting forward a declaration that will send a very resounding and important message that EU and COMESA businesses are ready to work together even stronger for the future. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wrap up here and once again stress the huge potential of two big markets, the EU market and the COMESA market. Together we can unlock it, and the European Union here reaffirms its commitment to advance regional integration, economic resilience and sustainable development. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And for that emphasis, as you were speaking, I just remembered when I started my career in agriculture, my business is in agriculture, 25 years ago, the only thing we were worried about were gumboots and tractors and so on. And now we have to have digital infrastructure, Wi-Fi, internet and all those things, which is great. And that is the opportunity, which is huge for us in Africa. Next, we will have our head really for us in COMESA Business Council and COMESA, the Secretary General, Her Excellency Chileshe Kapwepwe. Welcome.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, our guest of honor. His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson of the COMESA Council of Ministers from Burundi. Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, Kenya. Gracious host. Honorable Ministers, Cabinet Secretaries from COMESA member states, Mr. James Chimwaza, President of CBC, heads of COMESA institutions, permanent secretaries, and other government representatives, Chairperson of the Kenya Association of Manufacturing, CEOs of business associations and captains of industry, members of the diplomatic corps, may I simply ride on protocols already established. It's a great honor to welcome you all to the inaugural COMESA EU Horticulture Connect, which is being convened alongside the 18th COMESA Business Forum and the 24th Summit of COMESA Heads of State and Government to be held here in Nairobi. This platform is the first of its kind for COMESA, designed to link enterprises from region directly with European partners in order to unlock new opportunities for trade, investment, and partnership. Allow me to first express our deep appreciation to the government and the people of Kenya for graciously hosting this event. In line with the focus of the event, Kenya, as one of COMESA's most dynamic economies, has demonstrated what is possible through horticultural development. The sector in Kenya contributes significantly to trade exports, provides millions of jobs, and positions this country as a leading supplier of high-quality products to the European market. This illustrates the broader potential within COMESA particularly when regional value chains are strengthened and SMEs are supported to meet global standards. COMESA's mandate, as enshrined in our treaty, places market access and trade facilitation at the heart of regional integration. Our current medium-term strategic plan for the period 2021 to 2025 prioritizes deepening regional markets, enhancing competitiveness, and promoting inclusive, sustainable economic growth. COMESA EU Horticulture Connect is therefore not just an event, it is a practical expression of COMESA's commitment to bring public and private stakeholders together to strengthen value chains, improve competitiveness, and create opportunities that directly benefit our people, especially our women and youth. Over the past 5 years, COMESA, through the EU-funded Regional Enterprise Competitive Access to Market program, already referred to by my colleague from the EU, has supported us in advancing this agenda. Through targeted interventions, more than 500 SMEs across the region, of which at least 30% are women and youth-led, have been capacitated to compete in regional and global markets. In the horticulture sector, exports to the EU amount to more than $3.3 billion annually, with the Netherlands alone accounting for 28% of COMESA's horticulture exports. The horticulture value chain alone contributes over $3.37 billion annually in exports to the European Union, employing millions of smallholder farmers across the region. Under this program, trade missions to Netherlands and Germany, facilitated under the B2B engagement with SMEs securing contracts valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars, gaining first-hand knowledge of certification, logistics, and standards. Trade and learning missions such as the 2024 engagement mission to the Netherlands brought together 11 SMEs from 9 COMESA member states. These SMEs held direct B2B meetings with Dutch companies, unlocking access to EU market, and several SMEs have since secured contracts and partnerships with European Union buyers, enabling them to commence export of product, thereby diversifying their markets. This includes women-owned enterprises who are the first-hand knowledge of EU certification processes, quality standards. These results underscore the value of strategic partnerships in facilitating access to regional markets and enhancing competitiveness of SMEs. COMESA's ability to act as a convener, working hand in hand with member states. COMESA institutions, including COMESA, Actesa, Africa Leather and Leather Products Institution, and COMFWIB, and partners such as the European Union to develop tangible results and impact. Allow me to warmly welcome our distinguished delegates from the European Union who share their perspectives, engage closely with enterprises from the region, and work with us to forge meaningful connections that will translate into concrete business opportunities. The milestones I have highlighted would not have been possible without the unwavering support of the European Union, whose partnership with COMESA has remained steadfast and forward-looking. We are grateful to the EU for the trust, resources, and strategic collaboration that they have provided over the years. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, COMESA EU Horticulture Connect provides a timely opportunity to build on what has been achieved and to chart a positive path forward. Together, we must leverage digitalization, green growth, and inclusive value chain development to ensure that COMESA remains a competitive and sustainable market. On behalf of COMESA, I thank the European Union for your partnership, and I extend my gratitude to all our stakeholders, including member states, institutions, private sector actors, and development partners for making this important event possible. Together, COMESA and the European Union can create a future where regional integration drives prosperity and where homegrown enterprises are fully embedded in global value chains. let this COMESA EU Horticulture Connect be the start of a tradition of closer collaboration, translating dialogue into real opportunities, and ensuring that our businesses, including those led by women, youth, are firmly embedded in regional and global value chains. This is indeed an opportunity to translate words into action and an opportunity for us to send a message to the summit that is on Thursday that the private sector is ready to work together, and partnerships such as European Union COMESA are going to unlock this type of collaboration to increase and deepen our partnerships. I thank you.
So thank you very much for those words. And again, the emphasis on the private sector, which the challenge is ours to make all of these things happen. We can, as we say in Africa, you can take the cow to the water. It's up to the cow to take up the water. Now, next we have our minister, our cabinet secretary, in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Kenya, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui.
So thank you very much. Your Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibea, Minister for Mineral Resources, Energy, Industry, Trade and Tourism for Burundi, thank you and welcome. My colleague, Minister for Agriculture, CS Mutahi Kagwe, the Secretary General of the COMESA, Her Excellency Chilesha Kapwepwe, the CEO of COMESA, the Director and Master of Ceremonies, Mushahi Konyiha, the ambassadors herein present, stakeholders and development partners, good morning. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you to Nairobi. I know it's already been done, but I think we can never say it enough that Nairobi and Kenya welcomes you here. We have been looking forward to host this event, and we thank the COMESA Secretariat for working closely with us to make sure that it happens. And your being here is testimony to the good working engagement that we have, and we hope that we'll be able to come up with concrete solutions on some of the challenges that bedevil the region. On behalf of the Government of Kenya, I extend our warmest greetings and deep appreciation to the COMESA Secretariat, the European Union, and the COMESA Business Council for convening this timely platform. Kenya is privileged to host this event alongside the 18th COMESA Business Forum and the 24th COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government. This platform brings together policymakers, private sector leaders, and development partners to foster new trade and investment opportunities that will strengthen horticulture value chains across our region. The horticulture sector is of immense importance to our economies as it generates employment for millions, provides export revenues, foreign exchange reserves, and also improves food and nutritional security and empowers women and youth. In Kenya alone, the sector contributes immensely to our GDP and positions us as Africa's leading exporter, with 70% of the cut flowers in the European Union, alongside with fruits and vegetables, coming from here. This experience demonstrates the potential for other COMESA member states to build strong value chains that can support employment and create opportunities across the region. This event comes at a time when our region is accelerating efforts to integrate horticulture into regional and global value chains. With the just-ended support from the EU-funded Regional Enterprise Competitiveness and Access to Markets Program, that's the RECAMP, COMESA has already strengthened SME competitiveness, supported SPS and TBT compliance, and promoted direct B2B linkages with European buyers. These achievements provide a strong foundation for us to scale under Africa trade competitiveness and market access and other similar programs. The challenges before us remain real, ranging from climate change and post-harvest losses to non-tariff barriers and the need for harmonized standards. Also, innovation, green growth, and inclusive partnerships. It is my hope that over the course of today's discussions, new connections will be forged, new ideas will be exchanged, and concrete business opportunities unlocked between COMESA enterprises and other European counterparts. I would particularly like to urge our private sector to seize these moments. The opportunities are vast in sustainable production, value chain, regional trade, and access to the lucrative European market. But success requires greater investments and partnerships and bold innovation. It is the private sector that must drive this transformation by scaling up production, embracing standards, and building cross-border linkages that make COMESA horticulture globally competitive. Allow me, maybe just in a nutshell, to say that as Kenya also, we have been able to work on some of the things that are necessary for any investor who wants to invest. Also noting that some of the challenges we have realized in the past, including currency issues. And I think the first issue we had was on profit repatriation. So sometimes when you invest in a country, you want to be sure you can repatriate. So I think Kenya offers you can bring in $10 million, $100 million, and you can get it out at any one time. And that's very important, especially when you're in the export market. And you don't need any central bank authorization to do that. Secondly, we have a stable currency, which also allows you that when you're planning, you can, like for example, we are trading at 128.29 to the dollar, and for the last maybe 1.5 years, it has remained so. Currency fluctuation can make export business planning very complicated. So we've tried to align that. We also boast of political stability and also a dynamic youth that can help us in terms of engaging with the necessary skills that are there. So I think these are some of the issues that we are trying to work on. And for the investors who have come for this summit, I think the B2B will be very important as Kenya tries to position itself as a dedicated hub for exports. And lastly also is to say that on green energy, which is also very important, we are 93% renewable energy. And I think that becomes important, especially when you want to look at post-harvest and also the energy mix that is important in this sector, among others. With those few comments, I want to end there and once again to express our support for COMESA and all the business people who have come here in honoring this particular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the challenge is continuing for the business sector to do something about this opportunity that we have together. Next, we have the chairperson of the COMESA Council of Ministers, who is the minister from Burundi, His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibea. Welcome.
Thank you, Master of the Ceremony. I will bring a French touch in this event. Excellence, le secrétaire au cabinet au ministère de l'Agriculture et du Développement de l'Élevage de la République de Kenya, Monsieur Mutahi Kagwe. Excellence, secrétaire au cabinet au ministère de l'Investissement, du Commerce, de l'Industrie du Kenya, Excellence Monsieur Lee Kinyanyuji, Honorable secrétaire général du COMESA, Chileche Kapwepwe, Monsieur le Président du Conseil des opérateurs économiques du COMESA, le CBC, chef des institutions du COMESA, secrétaire permanent des gouvernements, représentant des institutions gouvernementales, président aussi de l'Association des fabricants du Kenya, membre du corps diplomatique, distingués invités, tout protocole. C'est un grand honneur pour moi de m'adresser à vous aujourd'hui, à cette occasion très importante de l'événement Horticulture Connect du COMESA Europe qui se tient en marge du 18e Forum des affaires du COMESA. Je tiens à vous saluer et à rendre grâce à Dieu pour et aussi pour cet événement assez important. Je tiens aussi à exprimer ma profonde gratitude au gouvernement du Kenya et aussi au secrétariat général du COMESA, sans oublier aussi le Conseil des opérateurs économiques du COMESA pour l'organisation opportune de cette plateforme très essentielle à notre communauté. Cet événement s'ancre dans la reconnaissance que l'horticulture demeure l'un des secteurs les plus dynamiques à haute valeur ajoutée et inclusif dans nos économies. Il est crucial, non seulement pour les échanges commerciaux et la croissance, mais aussi pour la sécurité alimentaire, la création d'emplois, le renforcement de la résilience face au changement climatique. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités. Comme vous vous en souvenez, le 23e sommet des chefs d'État et de gouvernement du COMESA, que le Burundi a eu l'honneur d'accueillir à Bujumbura en octobre 2024, s'est tenu sous le thème « L'accélération de l'intégration régionale par le développement des chaînes de valeur dans le domaine de l'agriculture, résiliente au climat, de l'exploitation minière et du tourisme ». Lors de ce sommet, nos dirigeants ont réaffirmé leur engagement à bâtir des chaînes de valeur régionales, résilientes, à exploiter la numérisation et à éliminer les obstacles du commerce. Le sommet a aussi également pris note, grâce à l'amélioration des procédures douanières, à la numérisation des systèmes de dédouanement, et des réformes qui profitent directement à nos producteurs horticoles en réduisant les retards et pertes après récolte. En outre, l'élargissement du bilan alimentaire régional, de Regional Food Balance Sheet, a été approuvé, ce qui renforce notre capacité collective à prévoir, à planifier et répondre aux défis de la sécurité alimentaire dans notre région. Cela sont des décisions stratégiques qui ont un impact direct sur le secteur de l'horticulture et sur des pays tels que le Burundi. Mesdames et messieurs, le COMESA a été à la pointe du soutien au développement de l'horticulture dans toute la région. Grâce à l'accélérateur horticole COMESA EAC, mis en œuvre par l'ACTESA, notre région a réalisé des progrès considérables dans la promotion de la valeur ajoutée, le renforcement des capacités des PME et l'harmonisation des politiques pour soutenir la croissance dans le sous-secteur des fruits et des légumes. De plus, des initiatives telles que le programme COMESA d'harmonisation des semences, comme CHIP, garantissent que des semences de qualité soient accessibles au-delà des frontières. Un catalyseur essentiel dans la productivité et la compétitivité horticole. Mon pays, le Burundi, a bénéficié de ces efforts régionaux et nous envisageons un engagement plus profond dans leur mise en œuvre. Pour un pays comme le Burundi, l'horticulture représente un secteur au potentiel immense. Et cela est de même pour tous les pays de notre région. Il offre des opportunités de génération de revenus pour nos communautés rurales, d'autonomisation des débouchés à l'exportation vers des marchés régionaux et internationaux. Cependant, ce potentiel ne pourra pas être concrétisé que si nous investissons dans les pratiques intelligentes face au climat, si nous renforçons la gestion après récolte, les systèmes de chaîne de froid et surtout si nous nous alignons sur les normes et les exigences internationales. À cet égard, j'aimerais, au nom du gouvernement du Burundi, que les propositions exposées dans la note conceptuelle reçoivent toute l'attention nécessaire vers un soutien technique et financier complet par le biais des instruments du COMESA et de ses partenaires. Plus précisément, un soutien est requis pour les domaines d'intervention suivants. Il faudrait renforcer les chaînes de valeur horticole résilientes au changement climatique, améliorer les infrastructures post-récolte et la chaîne du froid, développer les capacités des PME, en particulier celles dirigées par les femmes et les jeunes, résoudre les obstacles non tarifaires et harmoniser les normes sanitaires et phytosanitaires, faciliter aussi des partenariats directs entre les producteurs de nos régions et les acheteurs européens. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités. Ces propositions sont en parfaite adéquation avec les décisions qui avaient été prises lors du 23e sommet du COMESA. Elles reflètent notre ambition collective d'intégrer l'horticulture dans les chaînes de valeur régionales tout en promouvant un développement inclusif et durable. En soutenant le secteur horticole, vous ne faites pas seulement qu'autonomiser nos communautés, mais vous contribuez également à la résilience, à la compétitivité de l'ensemble de la région du COMESA. Mesdames et Messieurs, pour conclure, j'aimerais encore une fois remercier le COMESA, l'Union européenne et nos partenaires pour leur soutien constant. Continuons ensemble à travailler pour transformer notre secteur horticole en un moteur de prospérité et de résilience, d'intégration de notre communauté. Je vous remercie pour votre aimable attention. Que Dieu vous bénisse.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman. And again, reminding us that one of the strengths of COMESA is we are a multilingual organization. We actually have 3 languages, English, French, and Arabic. And so if you are looking to come into the region, there is a lot of opportunity, and also for us, and a lot of opportunity to learn languages and grow in that way. We have a address, and is from Honorable Mutai Kagwe, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Kenya. Welcome.
Asante sana. My brother, Dr. Hassan, welcome to Kenya. I understand it in French, it is bienvenue. But in case I just insulted you, I didn't know. I have no idea what it is. Distinguished guests, and let me ride on already established protocols in the interest of time. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 18th COMESA Business Forum, Exhibition, and COMESA EU Horticultural Connect being held on the margins of the 24th COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit here in Nairobi, Kenya. For those of you who are here for the first time and for those of you who are guests of Kenya, I would like to say a special karibuni. Are there any guests from outside Kenya here? Non-Kenyans. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we'll give them a big lot of applause. And if you are near them, as we do in church, please give them a handshake. Huh? We are famous in Kenya for handshakes. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lillian, okay, we hear you. This forum, convened under the theme, and I quote, leveraging digitization to deepen regional chains for sustainable and inclusive growth, end of quote, captures the urgency of our times. And that is to harness digital tools not merely as enablers, but as the very engine for a transformed regional economy that is competitive, resilient, and climate shocks proofed. Before the advent of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the common market for the East African and Southern Africa comprised of 21 African countries, and I won't go through reading them, and was the largest economic bloc on the continent with an estimated GDP of US$ 1 trillion and a population of 600 million. Now you realize that the 600 million people is almost twice the United States market, almost 2 times the market of the United States. And therefore, it tells you what you can do once that demand becomes effective. It offers unparalleled investment opportunities for the horticultural sector and indeed the agricultural sector as a whole. Horticulture is not just an agricultural activity. It is a major pillar in our economy, as my colleague, Lee Kinyanjui, said. The sector consistently ranks among our top 3 foreign exchange earners, alongside tea and tourism. In 2024, Kenya's horticultural exports were valued over $1 billion, with flowers, fruits, and vegetables shipped to more than 70 countries worldwide. Cut flowers remain our flagship. We, on a daily basis, export over 60 million stems, equivalent to about 40% of all roses sold in the EU. The sector employs millions of people, and directly, youth being the main focus of that employment, and backward linkages to almost over 4 million people. Most recently, avocados and fruits are becoming Kenya's fastest growing exports, with avocado exports rising to over 128,000 metric tons in 2024, making Kenya Africa's top avocado producer. Vegetables such as beans and peas remain vital, especially for smallholder farmers who are active in this sector. Owing to recent challenges with stricter European market entry requirement, the government is strengthening compliance systems as well as seeking out new markets in other areas of the world. And at this point, I would like to thank the European Union for the great trade relationship that we have with the European Union, but also seek indulgence from the European Unions as to create a predictable way of operating. We have got too many changing goalposts, you know, and each 6 months, 7 months, a year, we shift to something else. And I would like to appeal that we remain steady in terms of the requirements of the European Union. And why European Union? Why EU? Why are we calling it EU and COMESA Connect? It's because there is a special relationship. Different countries have different special relationships. we too have a special relationship. And the special relationship is between Africa, and particularly COMESA, and the European Union, because of history, because of geography, because of other issues, and that special relationship is something we should foster. So as a government then, in order for us to make sure that that happens, we have taken bold steps to strengthen and modernize horticulture. And these steps include launching the National Horticulture Traceability System in April 2025 to ensure farm-to-market transparency and compliance with export standards. We have also secured trade deals with the European Union and the UK that guarantee duty-free, quota-free access to our exports and forging logistic partnerships with the Netherlands to ease cold chain transport. You will all remember that the King of the Netherlands was here sometime early this year for the same, and those discussions were key to the visit. Supporting farmers with fertilizer subsidies, certified planting materials, that is seed and seedlings, and training on good agricultural practices, particularly in avocado and floriculture. Partnering with Italy through the Lab Innova program to train exporters on European market requirements and establish a horticulture center of excellence. And at this point, I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize those who are in the horticulture farming business. Sometimes we talk about these things as if they are happening somewhere in the air. But there are people sitting here. Would are there any horticulture farmers here, the exporters, the ones in Naivasha, elsewhere? Are any of you here? Any of the farmers here? Any of the farmers, the horticultural farmers? One? There is one at the back. I want you to send a message that we recognize the effort, because without you, the discussions we are having today would not be possible. It is only possible because some farmers have put their money where their mouth is and have invested in the country so that we can be the country of horticulture and flowers, as we proudly say to the rest of the world. So our priority now is the reduction and eventual elimination of tariff and non-tariff barriers that hinder intra-regional trade. Our farmers and agribusiness cannot thrive if their produce is delayed at borders by cumbersome procedures, duplicative inspections, or unpredictable fees. Kenya, therefore, strongly supports the institutionalization with the Ministry of Trade as the Ministry of Agriculture. So Kenya is committed to working with COMESA member states to harmonize the standards, digitize customs procedures, and to adopt mutual recognition agreements on sanitary and phytosanitary standards. By doing so, we will cut transaction costs, reduce post-harvest losses of perishable goods, and enhance the competitiveness of our horticultural exports in regional and global markets. For Kenya, minimizing NTBs is not just a technical agenda. It is a practical commitment to enable farmers and traders, especially SMEs, to access markets more easily within COMESA region and to unlock full promise of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area at the continental level. So we are discussing the issue of trade and horticulture with the European Union. But I think sometimes we forget the potential of trade within COMESA itself. And I can tell you that I am very, very glad to say that one of the areas that is showing great promise in cut flowers is Nigeria, our colleagues in Nigeria. And I would like to urge the COMESA countries to become consumers of cut flowers, for example. If it is possible to please somebody in the European Union with a bunch of flowers, it should be possible to please somebody within the COMESA region with a bunch of flowers. After all, Valentine is Valentine, you know. So I am convinced that these measures, particularly that of domestic demand creation, will ensure that we remain globally competitive while safeguarding the livelihoods of our farmers. At the same time, the horticultural sector has also struggled with air freight capacity shortages. And I want to say this because I want the sector to recognize that we are aware of the air freight capacity shortages and escalating transport costs, which in 2024 led to major losses in flower exports, with farms, in some cases, unable to ship their blooms to markets in good time. The challenges highlighted, however, just underline the vulnerabilities in the horticultural value chain and the urgent need for resilience-building measures across trade, logistics, finance, and climate adaptation. Horticulture is not only Kenya's story, it is COMESA's opportunity. Collectively, our region has the right climate conditions, the land, the innovation, and the markets to transform fruits, vegetables, and flowers into billions of dollar industries that drive inclusive and sustainable growth. With this in mind, the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect is an excellent initiative designed to facilitate direct linkages of our exports to the EU buyers, provide technical knowledge on the alignment of quality standards, and showcase the immense potential of agribusiness within the two areas. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to propose that we need to unlock horticulture's promise in the region. We must trade with each other, but we must also train with each other. That is why Kenya is offering opportunities within the region in two fronts. One is that our agricultural colleges, the Kenya agricultural colleges, have been and are training people within the region for the horticultural sector. We have offered, for example, opportunities to countries within the East African and West African region for training opportunities. And I would like to ask the European Union to partner with us to revamp our agricultural colleges, particularly in the digitization of the colleges, so that agripreneurs or extension officers who are observing the horticultural growth remain extremely trained people. Digitization and the digital ecosystem that we are creating in the agricultural colleges is what is going to inform efficient farming and consequently inform more money in the farmers' pockets, both large scale and otherwise. For the horticultural sector, for those in Naivasha and other places, we have given you this opportunity where we can train your own people within the agricultural colleges so that you can save money and save time and create opportunities for young people within the country who are experts in it. As an example, about 300 people, 347 actually people from the Kenya agricultural colleges are now in the UK, partnering with partners in the UK so that they can train at the highest levels of farming, at the highest levels of pesticide control, at the highest levels of efficient use of fertilizers and other inputs for farming, so that they can reduce the cost of production and the cost of farming here in our nation. So in conclusion, therefore, the horticultural sector is proof that with the right vision, policies and partnerships, agriculture can be more than subsistence. It can be a key driver of economic growth, innovation, and global competitiveness. In closing, allow me to commend the COMESA Secretariat, Madam Shilesha, Kapwepe, thank you so much for all the work, good work that you are doing at the Secretariat with your entire team in Lusaka and elsewhere. We recognize the effort. We don't take it for granted. The COMESA Business Council, thank you very much. Yeah, give them a lot of applause. Thank you, Mushai and the team. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and particularly our European partners for convening this very important platform. Together, let us aim to digitally empower the horticultural sector, strengthen regional trade, and propel COMESA towards a future of sustainable and inclusive growth. I thank you.
So we'd like to take a photo of all the speakers. Please come and join the speaker, our chief speaker.
That is the end of the official opening of the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect, the first event at the 24th COMESA Summit that is kicking off today through to Thursday, the 9th of October 2025. Of course, the Cabinet Secretary for Kenya in charge of agriculture, that is Mutahi Kagwe, has just stepped off the stage there, and he has mentioned a number of issues that are affecting agriculture products trade across the region as well as with other markets such as the EU. And one of the issues he has brought up, of course, are non-tariff barriers. He has said that there are a number of challenges there that traders face when they are trying to get their produce across borders. Another issue is air freight capacity shortages. He has acknowledged that, and it has led to a high cost of transport for the horticulture products. He has also invited the European Union delegation to partner with the governments at the COMESA trade bloc to revamp the agriculture training in the country, saying that it is important that extension officers are trained and experts in agriculture are trained at the highest level to ensure that they are offering the much needed expertise to the farmers who actually do the production, so that production moves from subsistence to commercial. Of course, another issue that will be discussed in this particular forum includes the issue of standards. The EU market has very stringent standards that, if not met, sometimes stop the market.
The world will be alien to the critical issues are going to be discussed. From white papers to policy positions, it is easy of words.
Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are.
Policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government. Channel 1.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, will spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainability, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Got the fear of missing out? The latest celebrity, latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends. Get all the tea or juice when it comes to, and you get it served on time. More on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Hello, fabulous ladies. Welcome to the talk show that's all about sisterhood, empowerment, and unfiltered conversation. We will be focusing on women. We believe in women.
We are really changing.
We are creating a safe space for women to connect, thrive, and share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show, it's a movement.
When they are standing, we need to stand out.
From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in their individual fields.
You have to have a vision. You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real.
Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
What can be done as a government?
We have also proposed within the COMESA region, we did it during the East African Community meeting in Arusha. We also proposed it in COMESA that when a country within the COMESA region bans pesticides and so on, that other countries will also consider doing the same. Because there is no point of us trading with each other and saying, for example, that we are exporting our maize or we are importing maize from Tanzania or Uganda or other places, we need to have the same standards. And that's why in my remarks, I did allude to the issue of keeping the same standards, the same sanitary and phytosanitary measures across the COMESA region. The same standards are what is expected. What is expected of Kenya in the European Union is also what is expected of Uganda and any other member of the COMESA region within the same European Union. So it is enlightened self-interest that we all train the same and we all keep the same standards in order for us to collectively capture the markets without much ado.
A very Kenyan question. You know, Kenyan moved to the middle-income country, and our competitors like Tanzania and Ethiopia are yet to be moved to that category. So that's disadvantage our horticulture or maybe any other produce that comes from Kenya.
I think the trade minister can respond to the trading regime that we have established between ourselves and, for example, within the East African community, within the COMESA region, different countries are ranked differently within the European Union. But I think that our trade experts and our trade cabinet secretary is here, can also explain how that is going to work. No, finish first.
Okay. So, thank you. We are happy as Kenya to host the COMESA summit, and in particular, today's session was about horticulture. And Kenya is a leading player in the horticulture space. We therefore have a lot we can learn from each other, and we can also share. And some of the common problems that we have, including non-tariff barriers on standards and all those issues, will be a matter of discussion today. What is particularly important is that Kenya, as a member of COMESA, is keen both to increase in value and quantity of its exports to the European Union market, noting that because of geographical and weather advantages, Africa or COMESA market has an all-year sort of ability to produce for the European Union market, whereas when they are going through their winter, they are not able to produce. So there is a natural symbiotic sort of a relationship that exists between the EU and the COMESA, given the proximity, the weather, the geographical sort of a connection. And we are happy that Kenya, together with all the partners within the region, are working towards optimizing on that opportunity. Secondly, is that we need to develop not just the capacity in our farms to produce, but also the logistical capacity to be able to export, especially for horticulture, which is highly perishable. So we're talking of air connection to the specific countries, and also the cold store chain, because from the airport all the way from the farm, we must maintain those standards that have to do with cold store. So I think this is a good conversation between the investors, the service providers, the support and across the entire value chain, so that wherever there are gaps, we can be able to connect. But I think more importantly is also to assert that COMESA has a 682 million population. This population is enough to satisfy much of what we are able to have in surplus within the region. So as we think outside, what can we do internally to also help each other in terms of the surplus products? Thank you.
Like I asked you, a very Kenyan question. You know, we moved to a middle-income country, and Tanzania and Ethiopia are yet to be moved to that category. So they have a quota. Their products are maybe Ethiopia originated, but ours are not. So does that make that's disadvantage our Kenyan group?
Yeah. So Kenya being a mid-level country is a decision we made a few years back, which also had implications. And the implication is that our entry into certain markets attracts taxes that are not there for the LDCs. So what we are doing currently is to negotiate with specific countries, like in the case of China, for example, so that we have a bilateral that allows us to enjoy the same benefits. So that can be remedied at the bilateral level on a country-to-country conversation, and that has already started. But also it's good to appreciate that Kenya also has the cost structure of our product is much different. So I think there are many other advantages just beyond the levies and the taxes that we are charged as we get into those markets. But on bilateral level, we are working on it.
How many countries are you talking with, especially for agriculture?
About five bilateral.
Waziri, just a quick question. In terms of our exports, how much of it goes to the COMESA market, and what are we doing to increase that market?
I think the volumes are not very high, and that's why we need to have this conversation. But also what happens is that a good number of the countries tend to produce more or less the same thing. So that's really where we also need to look at product diversification, so that we have other opportunities across the world. But the world is now looking outward. We don't want to imagine that the only time we can sell is when we sell to each other. What we need to look is what does Kenya have in excess? Like we have excess milk, coffee, we have tea, whereas the other countries don't have that. So we need to work around that. Thank you. I want Chairman of COMESA, who is also the Minister for Transport and Trade from Burundi. Please welcome.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask in English. So maybe you can tell us about how we can deal with non-tariff barriers, especially to enhance trade within the COMESA region.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And I would like firstly to commend the government of Kenya and the COMESA to organize this event. And as my government, Burundi, we are very interested in the sector of horticulture because we have a small country and we are not capable to compete with a great country like Kenya in such terms of high quantity of agriculture. It means maize or rice. So we put a lot of effort on horticulture, fruit and tropical fruits. And what I'm saying is that to ensure that we can harness and take advantage of our potential, we have to be able to collaborate, to have strong partnerships. Firstly, in terms of training, and I thank the government of Kenya that they have that such program to bring African farmers and train them, and I think that our government can beneficiate of that offer. And then we have shared interest in terms of consumption. We have a common market that client in Burundi can have beneficial the market here in Kenya, and then also Kenya client can go to Burundi and get some product. And in this situation, we can improve the trade in our region. In addition, what I can say is that we have some challenges in terms of standards, in terms of bringing our farmer to get technical so that they can access to market. And it is in this kind of platform that we can help each other to meet those standards. And a country like Kenya that have a lot of experience in such a sector can train us, and we can be able to maybe access to European market, to get with a platform that can allow us to beneficiate the experience that already has gained by others. Yeah.
What is the region doing to ensure that they continue with productivity even in the face of the residual climate change?
Yeah, I think the climate change is an issue for farmers, that they have to be sure that the cost of the production is high. So we have to get some strategy and mechanisms to normally, firstly, finance them in a way that they can be resilient to the climate change. Secondly, to bring new techniques, to train them with new techniques. I mean, for my country as Burundi, we are trying to develop greenhouse agriculture. This is something that can help our farmers, and we can also try to engage the worldwide community, so that they have to be aware that this is an issue that is global. And then this is something that Burundi and other countries in the COMESA area have to put effort to support those farmers in terms of be resilient in climate change. That's what I can say.
So maybe just a quick question to Aziri. So for the longest time here in Kenya, the horticultural exports have been our biggest export earners. Sorry?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying for the longest time in Kenya, when I see us, our exports, particularly tea, coffee, flowers, were our biggest forex earners. Today, that is not the case. And I just wanted to know, what is the government doing and what kind of investments are you making to make sure that horticultural exports then go back to being our biggest forex earners?
Well, you know, let's get one thing straight. The problem is not when something becomes the number one or number two or number three export. The problem is if you have become number two as a result of dropping the quantity. If you are increasing the quantity and you have become number three or number four, it simply means that something else has grown even bigger than when you are, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. So, for example, horticulture is number three at the moment because of tea and tourism, but maybe with the increase that we are expanding in the markets in the other regions that we are opening the markets, it could easily go also to number one. So for me the issue is, are we growing or not? If we are growing, then let's all grow together. Let all the crops grow together, tea, coffee, etc. You have seen the growth in avocado, growing very, 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 very quickly. And we have no doubt that avocado is going to be one of the key, export crops in the future. So with that kind of ecosystem that we have, it simply tells you that we have huge opportunities. All we need to do is partner properly with the regions, the rest of the world, the European Union. If we add value, we give more money to the farmers. And I keep repeating, and I'm not going to get tired of doing so, that even as we discuss horticulture or any other agricultural product, let us never forget to focus on the farmer. We are discussing horticulture because a farmer has invested. A farmer is waking up in the morning and growing flowers, is growing vegetables, and so on. Let's remember that if we empower the farmer, we can empower the industry.
Yes, so lastly, we've seen particularly with the demand from European customers, they're very big on sustainability and making sure if the flowers that are being grown in Kenya, that it goes down the ecosystem from our farmers, the remuneration of the farmers to the kind of inputs that is being put there. So I want to know, what are you doing as the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that you also prepare the farmers and the players in that sector to make sure that they align with that sustainability demand?
Okay, let me also again be clear. The reason why we want climate smart farming is not to align ourselves with Europeans or to align ourselves with anybody else. It is in the interest of our people that we use the correct pesticides. And it is in the interest of our people that we conserve our climate. It is in the interest of our people that we protect our forests, even as we do whatever we are doing. So I think we must not perpetuate the notion that we are doing what we are doing because of the Europeans. It is not. The Europeans have got that standard going in their own countries. They want to protect their climate, as they should. We want also to protect our climate, as we should. And therefore, what we are trying to do is align with best practice so that we protect our environment, so that we protect our people, and so that we can create smart farming, climate smart farming, not just letting our environment go down to the dogs. And we should. For example, let me give you a very good example. And we are working with the forestry department and all that. You know that Nyayo T-zones are designed to protect the forests, incursions into the forest. It is also in our interest that we look at where we are farming. If, for example, we are farming in very steep areas, it is in our interest that we plant trees in those steep areas because they stop soil erosion, They stop chemicals going into the rivers, etc., etc., etc. So yes, we want to retain, we want to maintain high standards, but it's for our own interest. And I think that there's a representative here from the European Union. Maybe you can also ask her that question.
On behalf of the EU Ambassador to Zambia and COMESA, Madam Carolina Stasiak, it is our great privilege to be today in Nairobi, and we would like to really extend our warmest thanks to the COMESA Secretariat with Her Excellency the Secretary General, to the Government of Kenya with the Honorable Cabinet Secretaries, and to the COMESA Business Council and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers for hosting this very important event. We are extremely proud that the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect is happening here today. It is very much aligned with the EU Global Gateway Strategy, with boosting the trade relations between two very important blocs, the EU and the COMESA region. And as already mentioned by the previous honorable speakers, it is very much aligned with standards, with compliance with sustainability regulation, making sure that the regulatory framework, that the harmonization of the regulatory framework is there, making sure that there is intra-African regional trade and regional integration in line with the African continental free trade area. So this is just to reiterate that the EU is a stable and committed partner to COMESA and to the COMESA member states in this endeavor, and we are very honored and privileged to be here today. Thank you so much.
Tumemaliza? Asanteni.
Talk to the young boys.